Chapter 12. The Best Test Subject. He drove all the way to the nearby town. It was his first time leaving the shelter since the advent of the era of destruction, so he couldn't help but feel a bit nervous. The small town at night was eerily quiet, with every household's doors tightly shut. Even the barking of dogs was absent. The whole town was shrouded in extreme oppression, even silence. After the era of destruction, due to frequent mutation incidents, most domestic cats and dogs were culled. And even if they survived in the current food shortage, with people struggling to feed themselves, who would spare food for dogs and cats? Parking the truck in a remote corner, Hiroshi carried the grain from the cargo box. Due to the mutations, some people in the town accidentally consumed the radiation-contaminated vegetables and died. So now, yellow paper money fluttered on the streets. Coupled with the darkness of the night, it added an eerie feeling. Kiko and Benji followed closely behind Hiroshi, both silent and understanding. Kiko carried a small basket with some candies and cookies inside. She remembered that Uncle Nan's son liked these, so she reluctantly took out half of her stash to contribute. This memory dated back a year ago. Back then, Uncle Nan's 18-year-old son, Angus, came to the farm to help. Perhaps out of some psychological reason, he snatched a lollipop from Kiko to eat. Kiko, with her simple mind, didn't think Angus's slightly rough action had any ill intent. Instead, she thought he, like her, just loved candy too much, so she generously took out a new one to offer him. However, Benji was unhappy. Sensing a hint of bullying in the boy's actions, it chased Angus for hundreds of meters, finally sinking its teeth into his buttocks, leaving him bedridden for half a month. At the time, in front of Uncle Nan, Hiroshi acted very angry, scolding Benji and claiming he would starve it for 3 days to teach it a lesson. In the end, he gave Angus $50 for a rabies vaccine, which barely settled the matter. But that night, not only was Benji not starved, but its food bowl also had several juicy chicken legs added. Since then, Angus had never been to the farm again. But Kiko never forgot that Uncle Nan had a big brother who loved candy. Hiroshi moved quickly, stopping in front of an old residential building. Uncle Nan's house was an old-style rural residence, with low walls. From over the wall, Hiroshi could see lights on inside. He quietly lowered the grain, vegetables, and the candies brought by Kiko along the wall with a rope, placing them in the yard. This way, Uncle Nan would see these things once he came to the yard. And due to the angle, even if someone passed by outside, they wouldn't see the food hidden under the wall. Very safe. After doing all this, Hiroshi was about to leave when he suddenly heard a burst of mournful crying from Uncle Nan's room. Heart-wrenching. "Angus, what's wrong? Don't scare Dad." Uncle Nan's wailing voice reached Hiroshi's ears, making him stop his steps. Immediately after, there was a violent coughing fit. Hiroshi covered Kiko's eyes in a hurry. Although many people had died from this matter since the era of destruction began, seeing the vivid image of a life about to be lost in front of him was still shocking. Listening to Uncle Nan's wailing and Angus's coughing, Hiroshi took a deep breath, calming his somewhat chaotic heartbeat. "Big brother, Angus has coughed up a lot of blood," Kiko said hesitantly. "Is he going to die?" "It's okay. It's okay." Hiroshi crouched down, hugging Kiko tightly to comfort her. Suddenly, an idea came to his mind. Retrieve ancient medicinal-grade carrots? The pleasant notification sounded. Yes.
Hiroshi chose decisively.
The next second, a carrot emitting a faint medicinal fragrance appeared in Hiroshi's palm. Due to the need to issue receipts for deliveries, he often carried paper and pen in his coat pocket. He took them out, wrote a line on the paper, then wrapped the ancient medicinal-grade carrot and an iron lighter together in the paper, crumpling it into a ball. Yes. He wanted to give this ancient medicinal-grade carrot to Uncle Nan to let him treat Angus. To be honest, although Hiroshi had a history with Uncle Nan, their relationship was far from good enough for this. He was just testing his hypothesis. Hiroshi had wanted to conduct an experiment to see if the ancient medicinal-grade carrots could cure radiation contamination. Originally, he planned to buy a piglet for the experiment, but now it seemed that the best test subject was right in front of him. If the ancient medicinal-grade carrot could save Angus, he would get the result he wanted, and Angus would survive. That would be the best outcome. If it didn't work, he wouldn't lose much. Angus was already on his deathbed, and Hiroshi had nothing to feel guilty about. Whether you live or die depends on your fate. Hiroshi fell silent for a moment, then lifted the paper ball in his hand and hurled it towards Uncle Nan's window. The crash of broken glass filled the room as the paper ball shattered the window of Uncle Nan's bedroom. Uncle Nan, in a fit of rage, rushed outside, wielding a kitchen knife. "Who's there?" he roared furiously, brandishing the knife. "I'll chop you up." But the yard was empty, and in his anger, Uncle Nan's eyes caught sight of something at the corner. Illuminated by the faint light from inside the house, he noticed a pile of something. "Food grain," he muttered in disbelief, hurrying over to investigate. Sure enough, he found rice, vegetables, and even candies. Just then, weak cries came from inside the room. "Dad, there's something inside," with words Angus managed to choke out amidst his coughing fit. Uncle Nan, without hesitation, rushed back to the room.